Sorry, but can I use your bathroom? Let's see. It is 5:46. I'm Danny Bonaduce. This is KZOK. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Happy birthday, Dooch man.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Not only because I want money and presents, but we had a birthday party. My actual birthday party, the one we would have with me and Fidel Castro, were he not dead, would be today on August 13th. But we had it on Friday. Was it the 10th? We had the little birthday party, and I got to tell you, there's some new heroes in my world after that. And I'll start. First of all, it was a wonderful turnout at Chandler's Crab House. Everybody came out. There was a couple hundred people by the time the whole thing was over. It was really, really great. But Jim the Flagger, ladies and gentlemen, what a guy. He comes up, he sits down, he's in his flagging outfit that reflects and all that kind of stuff. And somebody just reaches over, and he's quite the sight. When you see Jim the Flagger, you go, oh, that's Jim the Flagger. Yeah. I can tell. And then somebody either handed him or tossed him. I don't know. I got in right as it happened. A bottle of vodka at 7:30 in the morning, and it was one of those little airplane bottles, but it was of Atlantis raspberry vodka. In other words, poison. And he kind of looked at me like, "Is it cool?" And you are talking to the wrong guy. And he leaned his head back and poured in a whole little bottle of raspberry vodka at 7:30 in the morning. And I was duly impressed. Also, slightly spooked. I don't know if that's the right word or not, but did you guys talk to Sling Master Doug?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
That guy, he was super nice to talk to, and he said, I've made a sling for you, and he really is. He's not kidding around. Slings are what he's about, which is, good with me. And he said, I made you the sling. And I said, well, I'm doing the show, man. If you're still here afterwards, I'd love to take your sling. That'd be great. Sure enough, after the show, Sling Master Doug, still there, comes up to me, and he's got what just looks like a little ball of rope about the size of a baseball. And I thought, oh, he's crazy. That's what it is. And that, by the way, that doesn't fully go away. So he unwinds it, and it's a sling. It's two pieces of soft rope connected to a little leather pouch. And then he put a rock in it, about the size of a shot glass. But a shot glass is empty, and the rock was solid. It would have killed you quite dead. And he put it in the sling. And I said, no. There's people. You're in the middle of a crowd. Don't use the sling here. Because, in my head, it's kind of like a lariat, if you will. But you even move your arm more. You swing. And then you kill Goliath. That's how this thing, I've seen it. I've read my Bible. I read a Bible with pictures in it. I know. So I try and insist that he does not do that right there out in front of Chandler's Crab House. And he puts the rock in, and he tells me, stand right here. But I don't feel like I'm far enough away. I feel like I'm going to get killed here. And he's a nice guy, and he came to my birthday, and I don't want to make him upset. But, I can't die. That would seem super weird. And as I say that, he launches the rock, but he doesn't swing it in the way I've described, in the way I think that everybody would think you throw a sling by going, whoosh, 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 pow. That's not what happened. He kind of put it beside him, turned one full rotation like a disc thrower, if you will, and then let it go 200 yards, maybe 300 yards.
It was amazing, yeah.
How did I miss
were you there?
Yeah,
I don't remember you even being there.
I saw him shooting rocks out into the water, out into the lake. And even, I was a little worried with the boats out there and the seaplanes that he's going to hit somebody, but he was just chucking them so far.
So far. And I mentioned the David and Goliath story that apparently little 5'8" David killed 10-foot Goliath with the rock right between the eyes. Or at least I believe it could have happened. I'm a little wishy-washy on the Old Testament, but I now believe that absolutely could have happened, that somebody could have totally killed somebody 9 times their size.
Doug could do it.
Doug could do it. Jim the Flagger could outdrink him. It's all just a very, very good time.
Well,
now,
so did you get a sling, Danny? Did you learn how to use this that he gave you?
No. I don't know that was the sling he was giving me or not, but when he was, when he had his back to me and was trying to, bring down seaplanes, I thought, this is a good time to get the hell out of here. And I said, you guys email me, man, and I'll come out and I'll pick up your sling at some point. So, and he does have a sling for me. Just, he was shooting rocks out of the one he had and making me incredibly nervous while Jim the Flagger was making me incredibly nervous. So in essence, it's a good party. You know, you don't want to be just easy-minded at your own party. You want somebody to get. It's not a real party till a fight breaks out. And we did have a fight, but Doug tried to kill a plane or two, and that was worth watching. All right, so here's why I need to use your bathroom. Do you know, I was in, I'm assuming you guys know, I was in Los Angeles all weekend long visiting my family.
Yeah.
Who are just, oh, God, with these guys. I didn't even get a chance to see them on Saturday. Anyway, they're just a lot of trouble. But one of them's 100 years old. What am I going to do? Say stop being a hassle? So everybody, it was fun to see the whole gang and exciting. But I found myself in North Hollywood at my brother's house. And my wife, who was with me, said, come on, don't you want to go to the Brady Bunch house?
Of course.
I said, no. Why am I going to be? Because she took me to the Breaking Bad house.
Yeah, that's right.
In New Mexico.
Yep.
And everybody was stupid, and I felt stupid, and life is stupid. And so now it's the Brady Bunch house, which I have reason not to really go to. The Brady Bunch, it's almost the enemy camp for me to go to the Brady Bunch house. But of course, since my wife said please, I said okay. And we get there, and there's like 20 other guys and ladies and families and kids taking pictures, and I have to kind of stand in line to take my picture in front of the fake Brady Bunch house that was only used in interiors, and they added fake windows to it. You know the one I'm talking about, the Lance Bass bit on it, and HGTV outbid. Yeah. So, man, we're just standing there, and I had said to one guy, I'm trying to make small talk because we're a band of lunatics. Bathroom here only had enough room for this and this and this, and as far as I can tell, it didn't even have a toilet. And the guy went, uh-huh. And just walked away like I was a lunatic because I know how many toilets are in the Brady Bunch house. It mattered at the time.
Yeah.
So I took my picture. I put it up on Twitter. Did you guys get it?
Yeah,
We
we
did.
saw that.
Were you going to put it up on KZOK?
Yeah, we can do
Because
so.
I don't know how yet. Thanks. Because, it got quite the response. I was
It's a great
surprised that
picture.
people... Well, the partridge guy in front of the Brady Bunch house, it's not an everyday occurrence. It's not Bigfoot. But it's not Sasquatch, but it's something that you will see that you would rarely see. So from my travails in Los Angeles, I might have picked up something for Tori, and not in the sense of a gift. Hey, Tori, have you ever heard of the Cecil or Cecil Hotel?
I have not.
Okay, you have to Google it. Amy had told me all about it. It's a murder hotel. Everybody kills everybody. There's ghosts. There's murders. There's actually heads chopped off. And when we got there to see it, we couldn't get close to it because there was the murder tour going on with a real live tour guide taking you on the haunted spots of downtown Los Angeles. So, Tori, you got to look that one up. Here's the story I heard. This last one: a guy cut a lady's head off, put her in the water tank, and nobody could get water because it was all plugged up. And then when they did get water, it was stained with blood.
Stained with blood.
Scary. I hope you're bringing.
Yeah.
Oh, can you bring me back a head?
For a freezer?
Well, I don't know. Do you have one for me?
Oh.
What? You asked me for a head.
Sorry.
What's wrong with you people? And what do you mean, you people?
Well, everyone this weekend talking about the strange incident that took place at SeaTac Friday night. The story has captured not just our nation, but worldwide attention. And investigators still trying to get to the bottom of this story. The 29-year-old Horizon Air employee who stole a plane from SeaTac Airport, circling the area for a short time, performing stunts while being chased by military jets before crashing in a remote island near Tacoma. Now, we know the man's identity, Richard Russell. We also know he does not or did not have any training and yet was able to pilot a plane. Now, this morning,
So he's like most of the Horizon pilots.
yeah. So this was
Come on, you ever seen a Horizon pilot license ever? I haven't.
No.
So this
All
guy,
right.
this guy was a baggage handler and was asked. There's a lot of audio of this whole ordeal. I'm not even sure what word to use to describe it. This endeavor that this man undertook, and they asked him, "Did you, do any training?" He's like, "I played a lot of video games."
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So they're trying to figure out exactly how he came to possess the skills to perform the maneuvers he did. He was doing loop-de-loops.
And the keys. I mean, are there keys?
There
Do you
aren't-
have to have the keys?
There aren't keys. Apparently, it's a series of switches. And he did have some training in that he was trained to be part of the tow team that tows the plane, in and out of like the maintenance facility. And so there would be one person towing from the outside and one person inside the cockpit. He doesn't do that on a regular basis, but he did receive some training to do that.
But are the engines on? Could he go faster? Could he fly away with that plane during towing?
None of it was flight training. That he would have had to have done on his own.
I saw this guy's loop-de-loops and everything like that, and I thought for sure he's going to crash, although I'm not positive he crashed in the general sense of the word, because I think maybe he committed suicide.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, maybe Sarah has more on that. But, there was some skilled flying going on there for a minute.
Well, they had been talking to him. The air traffic controller was trying to tell him, I can talk you through landing. We can figure this out. Let's find a good place for you to land. And he said, I think that ship has sailed, so to speak. That he...
Yeah, okay, so it was suicide.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And the experts, still trying to figure this out because there was no history. That everyone says this guy was a really nice man, married, responsible. And he was saying to the air traffic controller that he must have just woken up this morning and had a screw loose. So
my first thought is chicks, money, kids. That'll drive you that crazy. But if he just woke up, if he's a normal, wild story, Sarah.
Yeah.
Money was one thing that he did mention when he was up there and talking to the air traffic controller. He mentioned that he was, frustrated with his job and the low pay. And he's said that before online too. He ran a blog and a YouTube channel, and he's talked about the low pay for his job and how hard he works and how, kind of unfair situations. But he also did a lot of traveling with his connections through the airlines and said that kind of balanced things out.
I'm pretty sure I heard Derek complaining about low pay, and I better keep an eye on him to make sure he doesn't go down to SeaTac to try to take an airplane.
No, we don't have any airplanes around.
Okay. We'll do that.
Here's some
Keep
good
that in
news.
mind, that wild kid. Yeah.
There's some good news this morning. The mother orca, who was carrying around her dead calf for days and days, thousands and thousands of miles, has finally let go of her dead baby. So
that's craziness that I will tell you. I was brokenhearted every time I saw that, and I thought the mom's going to starve doing this for her baby. That was an amazing sight to see.
17 days, 1,000 miles, and they've been watching her, hoping that she can let go and move on. And they say she seems to be remarkably frisky, and the grief is clearly over. Her behavior has completely changed, and that the calf is gone, probably sunk. They were kind of hoping to examine it for a necropsy to figure out why it didn't survive. But the good news is that mom has let go. The grieving is over.
I would like to see the animal doctor that said, oh, no, she's frisky now. Just as good as new. I'll bet she's not. I bet she's crazy forever.
Yeah.
I mean, think of that. If those are, say, human instincts taken to the extreme. Mom drags around her dead baby for 17 days and then drops it off finally. Everybody goes, oh, thank God she's going to work. I think she's going to stop by the store. Nope, she's going to be crazy for the rest of her life.
A West Virginia House committee has voted to impeach the entire state Supreme Court. The state's House Judiciary Committee approved 14 articles of impeachment against all 4 sitting justices of the West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals. These charges include unnecessary and lavish spending of taxpayer dollars, maladministration, corruption, and neglect of duty.
Now you can't neglect the duty.
Don't neglect your duty. Race you there, Paul.
Why get to the top echelon of government, though, if you're not going to abuse the power a little bit?
I agree. That's what I said about the president. Like, who cares who he had sex with? He's a president. Other rulers have concubines. He's got one porn star.
Well, they were lining their pockets with the taxpayers' dollars, funding lavish lifestyles. All 4 of them are facing charges. One of them has a 23-count federal indictment, including mail fraud, wire fraud, false statements. I mean, this is a huge laundry list. So I'm not sure if this was like all 4 judges in cahoots or if these are just all 4 really bad people.
I don't really understand, and since I totally don't understand, I probably don't want to get that far into it, but I didn't know judges had access to funds. They're like, what? Who are they? Where are they getting this money? Where are they allowed to go to what account to abuse it?
I guess maybe just an expense account that, you should be able to charge normal business expenses, and they're charging vacations.
Like,
or whatever.
I don't know, robes?
Yeah, well, there you go. A new gavel.
We've seen crows throughout Seattle forever. There are a lot of crows in Seattle. That's just a fact of nature. But in France, they've decided to do something different with their crows. A historical theme park in France, has trained 6 crows to pick up cigarette butts and small pieces of garbage to help keep the park clean.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wondered what Crow would do after he retired.
Yeah, they have somehow figured out. I mean, we know crows are supposed to be really intelligent. They can remember faces. They say, like, don't ever mistreat a crow because it will remember you.
No, I told you that Amy got attacked by one, but here's the thing on this. They're really, really smart, these animals. They're special, so let's train them to pick up cigarette butts with their mouths. I don't know if that we're doing them a good service here.
A teenager is recovering in Pennsylvania after being shot in Nicetown.
That's outlandish. Who gets shot in Nicetown?
The 17-year-old was hanging out Friday night in Nicetown, and things were not so nice. They're trying to figure out who shot him and why. He was shot in the stomach. You know what they're going to do?
Oh, that's a terrible place to get. Yeah, I do. What are they going to do?
They got to feed him onion soup.
Yeah, French onion soup.
And then smell his belly.
And then sniff the wound. Yeah, sniff the wound.
We're medical doctors here on KZOK. Police have arrested a 35-year-old man suspected of calling in a bomb threat to a restaurant. Emmanuel Soriano has been charged with 1 count of unlawful bomb scare. And about noon, they were called to a bakery, cops. There's a bomb threat. And they went to the restaurant, look around. Turns out this dude was related to one of the store's employees and had been calling the business trying to talk to his relative. The relative said, I'm working and I want to talk to you. I'm not taking your call. He was so mad.
How mad was he? Oh. He called 911?
Close, man.
He called 911. Said, what? I just wanted to talk to my cousin. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is he is now being booked into the detention center because you can't call in a bomb threat.
You know, it's so weird to me when stuff like that happens because it's a misdemeanor. Nothing much is going to happen. The financial penalties they can levy against this guy are one thing, but that's not nearly enough. I don't think we should hack off one of his arms or anything, although it wouldn't make me that mad. Dial now, bitch. That's what I'd say to him. But I just think they should raise the penalty, not for the fake bomb scare, for being that stupid. I don't need you trying to drive on the freeway and merge if you think you won't get caught calling 911 with a fake bomb. Yeah, no, I'm back to it. I want to cut off at least a hand.
Oh, at least the hand. Okay. Not just
at least
the
the
pinky.
hand. The dialing hand. The offensive hand.
Oh, what about the pointer finger? Is that what you guys use to dial?
Yeah. What do you mean, you guys? Yeah. Like, you don't dial a telephone ever?
Oh, good call.
No.
Yeah, what do you use to dial, Sarah?
I still have a touch screen, but I have a BlackBerry, so I still have keys. So sometimes I use thumbs. So I think you guys, meaning that most of you
have keys, like to open your door. We all have keys.
Oh, there's like a physical
QWERTY.
keyboard on your phone.
Yeah, I have a physical QWERTY. That sounds like I'm saying something that
a keyboard.
I don't mean.
You have a physical keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Sarah likes to talk in code.
Speaking of cell phones, text that word right now to 200-200 for your chance to win.
But will you use your finger or will you use your thumb?
I would use thumbs if I'm texting.
Okay, that actually makes much
Finger
more
if
sense.
you're dialing, though.
Thank you. So, Danny, you have to cut off his thumbs, is what we're learning. On to Nebraska, where we have quickly learned things are not right.
Yeah.
Deputies received a call of a motor vehicle accident in Hershey, Nebraska. It was reported a single vehicle had rolled, but the driver was not standing by the accident scene. The male driver of the wrecked vehicle had gotten a ride and decided he wanted to go to North Platte, Nebraska. The driver...
Sure, who doesn't want to go to North Platte?
Exactly. The driver called 911 and said, I picked up this dude and he's kind of being belligerent. And the dude who had gotten in the accident says, do not send the cops here because I will beat them up. Well, deputies, they arrived anyway. and he jumps out of the car and picks up a frog, tries to hand it to the deputy, but then changes his mind and says, "I'm holding this frog hostage." Things are so weird in Nebraska. He then
So but here's the thing, man. In today's times and what you see in the paper and things like that, think about this, how fast you could get shot dead picking up a frog and pointing at an officer. You don't know what it is. You're all covered in blood. You're acting weird. I'd shoot you just for picking up a toad. But still, it looks like it could look like a gun.
Well, the cops knew it was a frog. They said, put the frog down. You just need to put the frog down. And when he didn't, eventually they deployed the taser.
Yeah, tase that frog.
Which allowed the frog to go free. The frog was uninjured. He was taken into custody. They do suspect drugs and alcohol might have been a factor.
Yeah, I think there's a very good chance of that. And the frog escaped being dinner. Because I was just talking to my little wife about this, that I have not had frog legs since I tried to cook them myself, and they were a disaster. I'd have eaten that frog right there in front of the cops.
There's some things that you just can't or shouldn't try to make yourself. And I think frog's legs are one of those things.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Although the directions were super easy. I don't know how I wrecked it. Garlic, butter, frog's leg. Boom.
Yeah, that
Like
sounds
saying
like
boom.
you should have been able to do it. Well, might I recommend you don't try to make your other favorite food?
Okay.
Foie gras?
No, how do you make that?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. You take that right out of a goose and then do really weird stuff to it. No, I won't do that.
Princeton, New Jersey. We know things are also not right in New Jersey.
Yep.
A police car there. It's a a pickup truck, a patrol pickup truck. And they're doing some work on it, which requires off one of the doors and doing some painting on there. So, you know how police cars and trucks say police on the side.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, they took off one of the doors, and now that vehicle only reads ICE and is causing mass panic in New Jersey because now people think ICE is after them.
Because, so does the car only have 3 doors now?
Well, no, they replaced it with a plain door.
Yeah, they put the door
Right.
back on, but it's just a plain white
okay.
door. They
Yes.
haven't put a new decal on yet.
You know,
So it just says ICE. Well, not everybody in New Jersey's panicked.
Right.
A bunch of people in New Jersey are not panicked. But, this ICE thing, there's so many things in the news these days that I can just go, well, this is completely out of control. Let's look at this. And the ICE that have been here since they were 6 months old. So, yeah, if ICE was behind me, I was born right here, yet I would be nervous.
yep. I've
Some
been-
people in New Jersey are probably relieved because they're committing some other crime, and they go, "Well, thank God it's not the police. It's just ICE. They're not after me."
I would assume that most people in New Jersey are committing some other crime.
Yes, of course.
There are a lot of strange things happening in the world of beer. We've talked about the what was it? The beard beer, the beer that got blasted into outer space,
Yeah.
and there's just so much weird stuff going on. But there's one that has people talking because of its side effect. This is a beer that is brewed with watercress, which, according to watercress farmers, will help boost your sex drive. So this beer in particular, they say, is delicious, but also can give you Mr. Happy's.
If everything that I have been told, Anthony Bourdain had been told, and Andrew Zimmern has been told, oh man, these guys, this thing, if you eat this root, if you eat this plant, if you eat this eyeball, your girlfriend, her head's gonna explode, and it never, it never happens. That's never a real thing. Oysters, I've eaten oysters till they were coming out of my eyes, which was weird of them, but still, they don't do the magic that you think they might do.
But you try it anyway, right? If I tell you guys that
Sure.
watercress is going to give you a Mr. Happy, you guys are probably going somewhere and buying watercress right after the show.
Yeah.
Oh, immediately, because the first thing I want to do is make sure I have a Mr. Happy while talking to you during the news. That doesn't sound office unfriendly at all.
Oh, one of the greatest videos out of the weekend involved an inflatable rainbow unicorn. A group of women in Minnesota, it was 4 women, were on a giant inflatable rainbow unicorn. Nice weekend out in Minnesota. They're on the water, this giant inflatable unicorn. When they got stuck in the weeds, like thick weeds that are underwater, and had to call the cops to be rescued.
Now, how big is this unicorn? And did you say 4 people were on it? 4 girls?
4 women were on this. It was a big unicorn.
Yeah, that's a big thing they're doing now. They make these massive rafts that are, 15 foot across, and, a bunch of people can fit on it.
And all
Wow.
their booze.
And all their
And all
booze.
their
yeah.
boobs?
Yeah.
Booze.
Booze.
Oh,
And
Ice
their
chest.
boobs.
Yeah, normally there'll be like a hole to like drink holders and then like a big hole you can fill with ice as like kind of a
I
makeshift
would be.
ice chest.
I'd be yelling, "Take your top off!" And right when they got offended, I'd say, "No, the bottle, so you can drink." Don't try to pigeonhole me. That's what I would say.
In England, it's also been very hot. We've talked a lot about how we've had heat waves across the country here, but also in Europe, they've had some insanely hot temperatures. And it's been so hot.
How hot was it?
I thought, how hot has it been? I think is how you worded it.
It's so hot that the Andean flamingos have laid eggs for the first time since 2003.
Oh, so
They
we
must
know
be
what
bloated.
we know what gives flamingos a Mr. Happy, apparently.
Yes. It's got to be super hot for the Andean flamingos to feel randy. And randy they have
Doesn't
felt.
Randy get mad? And what's an Andean flamingo? Is it from the Andes?
Yes.
Okay.
So these are similar to the Chilean flamingos. You know those, Danny.
Oh, well, God, yeah. Almost like cousins.
Some of these flamingos arrived in the 1960s as adults, and they can still breed, believe it or not. I mean, that's an
I believe it.
old flamingo.
Yeah, it's an old, and especially if there's a group of them, better known as a flamboyance.
Yeah.
I like saying that I know that. Bunch of flamingos with happiness, they're gross to watch.
Mercedes-Benz can be quite expensive. There was one in Australia that cost $400,000.
Wow, what for?
I don't know why this was so expensive, but it was. And one woman was very mad at its owner, and in front of a whole lot of people got out a spray can and started to spray paint offensive remarks all across its sides and its top, and then decided to take her purse and smash it as much as she could, and then got behind the wheel and put it in the garage and walked away.
All right, let me just, I want to get it right. There's a Mercedes that cost $400,000 to start.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, there was a bunch of people from the world down under, Australia, who screwed the car up. She parked it in the parking lot and just walked away from the car.
She's the one who vandalized it. So
She vandalized her own car?
I'm guessing it might have been her husband's car.
I see. Because
Well,
I can see all of a
Vito.
sudden you realize you bought a $400,000 car and be pretty mad about it.
You know, think if you, say you and Amy had two cars and you got your Jeep, which is awesome, but then you went and got yourself a sports car. But then you did something and Amy was like, I'm so mad at you. I'm gonna take some spray paint to his sports car.
Right.
So she
Then
would
I
have,
spend $2,000 on one of that South American dude's flamethrowers, and I burn her house to the ground.
which is
You got to
incidentally
be
your
willing to
house.
take the extra step. Yeah, well, it was. She's going to get. I've been down this road.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida story of the day.
Yay!
Yay.
Two men are wanted after purchasing external hard drives from Target, which, Danny, you probably have not purchased one of these before, but they are very expensive, external hard drives. So they went to Target, took out all of the hardware inside, replaced it with Play-Doh, and then took the receipts back to Target and returned them. So they had done this at 5 or 6 different Target stores. They have now figured it out. Total value almost $10,000 worth of external hard drives.
Wow.
Full of Play-Doh.
Plus, now are they reselling these things? Are these getting into the hands of other customers, or are the people at Best Buy or wherever noticing right away? Hey, this thing smells like Play-Doh.
It's
No.
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, oftentimes they get resold. I've bought computer parts before that I opened them up and there were rocks inside.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, from like a reputable store.
From a store?
Yes, from a normal reputable store.
See, Danny just buys them out of the back of trucks.
Yeah,
Back
it wasn't
of
like
a
that.
van. Yeah, and you got rocks. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Florida.
Could you use it? Oh, Florida.
Florida.
We are going to be right back with music news. We'll talk about Pearl Jam Friday at Safeco Field. Something really amazing happened. We'll talk about that. We've got entertainment and we've got sports. It was a big weekend for the Mariners. We will give you all the latest. Plus, you can win tickets to an upcoming Mariners game next at Sports. Starting with some music news, Friday night Pearl Jam back at Safeco Field, and they paid tribute to Soundgarden singer Chris Cornell. Now, this was an all-star celebration, a lot of different people joining the band up on stage. We have a little bit of the audio. Derek, did you say this is cell phone audio, or you were able to find something of higher quality?
I believe it is higher quality. It sounds a lot better than a cell phone.
All right, let's hear it. This is a song from Chris Cornell called Missing.
I'm really glad you said it was from Chris Cornell before I started making fun of it.
This was a song from 1992, a rare 5-song EP that was culled from Chris Cornell's work on the Singles soundtrack. And when Temple of the Dog reunited briefly in 2016, this was an addition to the set list, all paying homage to Chris Cornell.
Well, Eddie Vedder is doing it justice.
So they already employ Soundgarden drummer Matt Cameron. They also brought on Kim Thale from Soundgarden. And they did MC5's Kick Out the Jams, the Stooges' Search and Destroy, the Dead Boys' Sonic Reducer, and then they had Mark Arm and Steve Turner from Mudhoney join them, and everyone said it was just absolutely mind-blowingly phenomenal.
I bet it was a big night out.
Alice in Chains have announced they are launching a 2-day pop-up shop here in Seattle to celebrate the release of their upcoming album, Rainier Fog. This is going to be something inside of the famed music venue, the Crocodile. So you're going to be able to go in there and see photos, memorabilia, gear, and then get limited edition merchandise all about Alice in Chains inside of the Croc, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
I was positive they were disbanded, if you will.
Nope, they did disband for a while after Lane Staley passed, but the real prolific writer, Lane Staley did obviously contribute a ton and was the singer, but the band found a new lead singer, and this is I think their third or fourth album.
Wow. I guess I'm kind of out of the loop on what's happening with Alice in Chains.
Yeah, honestly, what happens 99% of the time your lead singer dies?
The band disbands.
Right,
and disbands. And there have been a handful who have managed to continue with success, AC/DC being another one.
Yeah. I remember when Angela Lansbury passed, they had to break up that entire British pop band. Was it One Direction? Is that what the band
That's
was?
right, yeah.
Yeah. The iHeartRadio Music Festival is back September 21st and 22nd at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. 2 nights, some of the biggest names in music all on one stage. Fleetwood Mac and Leonard Skinner, just 2 of the performers. So many people. While the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. You're listening for the keyword. You text it to 200-200 for your chance to win a trip for 2. Get all the info at KZOK.com. Your next chance to text and win happens at 8:10. Danny, there is an actress making news for what happened to her over the weekend, and I can't tell if you're going to hate her husband or if this is not enough of your dream scenario.
All right, let me make it a little bit easy for you. I hate her husband. Now, what? Because I just like to get snapped to judgment. All right, what happened?
So this is Seattle-born actress Erika Christensen. You probably know her best for her role in the movie Traffic. She played, I think it was Michael Douglas's kid. She was also in the TV show Parenthood, just to name a few. So Erika Christensen, pregnant with her second kid, and all of a sudden the kid just decides to show up. And she's
Right.
like, we're not going to have time to do anything. So little baby Polly, born at home, and her husband, Cole Mannis, delivered his own kid.
Oh, well, in that case, and not for the reasons that you think.
Okay.
Not because he took my job as hero, although I do resent him, but shenanigans.
What do you mean?
Because this girl, God bless her, tried hard to be an actress, was in a movie, what was that, 12 years ago, Traffic, and in the 3 episodes of something, blah, blah, blah. But all of a sudden, she's like the third lead story in the entertainment. You know why?
Why?
Because she planned this whole thing out. By the way, super whammy allegedly. Let me make that clear. I don't know this girl. I don't know her husband. I barely know the baby. But I just think we're talking about whatever we're talking about an actress we weren't talking about yesterday. I am suspicious. But I'm only suspicious. I haven't come to a decision on this matter.
Bill Murray is a little bit strange, right?
Yeah.
Bill Murray was hanging out at a restaurant on Martha's Vineyard when he got into an altercation with Carly Simon's brother, Peter Simon. Now, Peter Simon...
By the way, just for a bonus round, that guy is named after two of the apostles at once.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Peter Simon. Paul should have been there. Maybe Matthew and Mark.
Luke,
I think I'm
John.
out.
Turns out he is a photographer. He was on assignment for the Boston Globe, and he says he was taking pictures at a restaurant on Martha's Vineyard when Bill Murray accosted him, swore at him, and threatened him. And they're trying to figure out if Bill Murray was justified a little bit because he was, hanging out in a restaurant, and then some dude just starts taking pictures.
Oh, did the guy go inside the restaurant?
Yeah, but he was on assignment. So
From who?
From the Boston Globe. So
To shoot restaurants?
he probably was there to do a cover piece on this restaurant, and maybe Bill Murray thought that he was just taking pictures of him.
You know what? If I were, just the people around Bill Murray, the people eating lunch, if some guy comes in with a camera and starts taking pictures, I'm already not happy about it. And, you have to be a bit of a punk. So a 71-year-old comic yelled at me, call my mommy.
Over the weekend, Idris Elba seemed to be stoking the flames, getting all of the rumor mill back up again about him playing James Bond.
I would be in line to see. That seems like a great idea.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
First of all, the first black James Bond seems like a great idea anyway. But forgetting whether you're black or white, but you got Idris Elba. Oh, that guy's fantastic. I would watch him.
a lot of people have said that. The movie boss, Barbara Broccoli, has said it is time for a black actor to play Agent 007.
Yeah.
But over the weekend, and this rumor's been going on for about 2 years now. But
Yeah,
over
I
the
remember.
weekend, Idris Elba sent out us a tweet, and it showed his picture with the words, "My name is Elba, Idris Elba."
Oh, he's doing it then, right?
Two
Sounds like
things.
it.
One, he's doing it. And two, he's showing us how to pronounce his name. Because I'm afraid when I say it, is it Iswaj Bibo? What is it? It's not an easily pronounced name. But I would watch him as James Bond. I'm afraid, though, how old is he? Does anybody know?
He's not young. He is definitely not young, but he's super handsome. I'm going to go with he's 48.
James Bond, no longer, in my opinion, gets by on being handsome, even though all he has to do is kiss a strange woman. She takes all her clothes off. Life should only be so simple. But if he's over 50, then I have concerns about you being James Bond, unless you're going to play the old tired James Bond, which would be interesting.
He's only 45.
All right, he has 5 more years to get this done.
Daniel Craig is 50.
Yeah, and quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say Daniel Craig's actually on the hook for 2 more. So we may have to wait a while for...
You know what? Including what I said about you should get out of being James Bond by 50, I really still love Daniel Craig and what he has done with the character.
Yeah.
If you watch the movies as closely as I do, he's gone from being the Pierce Brosnan and Sean Connery kind of affable spy. He's a psychopath and kills innocent people execution style. Like, that's new, and he's great at it.
We've been talking a bit about the Kardashians and how unbelievably filthy rich they are.
Yes.
Now, we know that the youngest one is almost a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But according to a new study, Kim Kardashian should not be someone you hire for a fashion brand. They've taken a look to see who has a high risk score. So if you were, say, to hire Daniel Craig to be your representative, they analyze how risky all these different famous people are to your brand.
Risky in the sense of they won't bring business, or risky in the sense of they're going to get arrested or they're going to flip out on drugs or something?
Know that how somebody is perceived by the public. So if you were, say, Beyonce, your risk score is kind of nothing. But Kim
Right, everybody loves her.
Kardashian is risky because a lot of people do not like her. So
Yeah, I got to tell you that, this is my opinion from outside, but you don't get to be as famous as the Kardashians and have a huge percentage of people like you. You have a pretty even split, I would think, over people that like you and don't like you. I'm a fan of the whole family. I think they're funny and they make some money. But if you ask me, do you like Kim Kardashian as a person, I would have to say no on that.
well, she is the riskiest choice of ambassadors for retail companies. So even though she supports charities, they say she lacks consumer trust and is perceived as risky. So, Danny, when you start your new fashion brand, do not hire Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, it's called Short Italian. I think it's going to fly right off the shelves.
Hey, we want to say thank you to everyone who came out to Danny Bonaduce's birthday party Friday night.
Yes, we do.
And all of you who listened on the radio. Pictures are up right now at KZOK.com. And a special thank you to Schwartz Brothers Restaurants and, of course, to Chandler's Crab House, who hosted us. And remember, due to redevelopment in that area, they're closing September 29th. Make sure to get out there while you still can. It is a beautiful, beautiful destination with great food.
It's so beautiful and the food is so good. That's not schmaltz. It is like one of the most beautiful locations that you can have.
Yep.
And I've been there on several occasions. I'm just shocked. Did somebody buy it from them for $1 gazillion?
So, I mean, with all the real estate development going on around there, Vulcan owns a big chunk of that. I think there are new plans for that area and for that specific building, and they just unfortunately aren't going to be part of it.
Yep.
Jeez, you've got to be Vulcan kidding. I was so nervous doing that, and then I wrecked it.
Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. On Friday, the Mariners beat the Astros 5-2. On Saturday, the Mariners beat the Astros 3-2.
Woo! Yay.
Yesterday, the Mariners beat the Astros 4-3.
Nice.
Wow, wait, 3 in a row.
4 in a row, Danny.
4 in a row.
Wound up being a 4-game sweep of the Houston Astros. And guess the last time that ever happened?
Never.
1902.
Never.
Yeah.
Oh, I was close.
You were.
That has never happened before. The Mariners 4-game sweep of the Houston Astros, and they made history. So up next today, the Mariners' huge series, the Oakland Athletics. So presently, I believe we are 4 games out of first place, and we are neck and neck with the Oakland Athletics. So if we can beat them, we will be back on top, baby.
On top?
We could very well be back up on top.
Yeah, if Houston keeps losing and if we sweep the A's, then we could well be in first place.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So we've got Marco Gonzalez versus Sean Manea, 7:05 start time on Root Sports. If you would like to win tickets to an upcoming Mariners home game, you can call us right now to play an in-studio version of Mariners KZOK Music Trivia. We're going to play you a song clip. If you can tell us the title, the artist, and the year it came out, you will win. Derek, play the clip. Call right now, 800-252-1025. Artist, song title, and year it came out. Call right now to win. So a little bit of baseball news from the Texas Rangers. We wouldn't normally talk about them, but something pretty spectacular happened to one of their rookies, Ronald Guzman. He had his family in the crowd. He's from the Dominican Republic, and he's 23 years old. As I said, a rookie. His dad was in the crowd, 30 from the DR. And he said to himself, I got to hit a home run for my dad. So he did. And then he hit another. And then he hit another.
Were they also for family members?
3 home runs against the New York Yankees.
Wow. Oh, maybe did he pick a sick child and point out to left field and then not hit it, but get it the next time?
Pretty amazing. A rookie has never hit 3 home runs against the New York Yankees before. But he said it was just, special. He wanted to hit 1, wound up hitting 3. Congratulations. And prior to Saturday's game against the Pittsburgh Pirates, the San Francisco Giants retired Barry Bonds' number 25 jersey.
Like with honor, retired it?
Honor for the team. The team can do that, but he's still not in Cooperstown.
Right, but the point is, though, and I think the only reason that he's not in Cooperstown is because of an asterisk next to his name.
Yeah.
But, I think you're on your way to Cooperstown if your team retires your jersey. That's a pretty big deal.
It helps. Now, that he never technically failed a PED test, but everybody and their grandmother allegedly knows that
He never failed? There's no concrete proof that he was on steroids?
No, they didn't really do it back then. I think the only reason Mark McGuire got full on busted was because of paperwork.
Yeah, they weren't testing nearly as thoroughly as they're testing now.
Yeah. Congratulations to Kirkland's Little League softball team. They're continuing their roll through the World Series. They had a 15-0 win over their opponent from Prague.
Wow.
They called the game after 4 innings because of run rules. So like sometimes here,
like a mercy rule?
Yeah. Sometimes in the MLB, it's like 17-2. Like, can't they just call that? They do in the Little League.
Yeah.
So
How many runs is the, like, that's it?
it's normally 7, and it depends on how many innings, right? So this was after 4 innings. They'd already scored 15. Like, okay, come on. They're not coming back.
Yeah, they're not coming back.
Something pretty crazy happened over the weekend at a Pittsburgh Steelers football game. So there's been a lot of practice, and the team was in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, having a practice. The practice was open to the public, just like here when the Seahawks have practice, fans can go watch. Only one fan decided to suit up. He had shoulder pads. He had a helmet. He made his way past security and then attempted to participate in drills.
He's kind of like that guy from SeaTac, except just on the football field.
Yeah, and less dead.
Yeah.
Now, the fan eventually was seen taken off of the practice field, and they're not sure how he was able to trick everybody. But maybe because he
he had shoulder pads and a helmet. He's either a disco dancer or part of the team. And I wouldn't, why be that mad at this guy? He's a big fan. He took a shot, escort him out, say don't come back, but don't give him a big drama over this.
So we're not chopping off his pinkies.
No reason for that.
Okay, good. Yesterday, the Sounders edged FC Dallas 2-1 for their 5th straight victory. Heck yeah. And the Storm defeated the Minnesota Lynx 81-72. Up next for them, they're not playing again until Friday. New York Liberty tip-off is at 7. History was made at the PGA Championship. Brooks Koepka became the 5th person ever to win the U.S. Open and the PGA Championship in the same season. But everyone's like, oh, yeah, this Brooks dude won. Everybody was watching Tiger Woods. Why, you ask?
Why ask?
He was in 2nd place and almost won.
No way.
Yep. He had this epic comeback and inch closer, and then just barely lost.
Yeah.
So did he come in 2nd?
He did.
He shot the best final round he's ever shot at a major. I think, had the best
since he was young.
I think the best score he's ever had at a major. Yeah, normally he should have won this one,
Yep.
but apparently this guy was just a little bit better. Brooks.
Wow, that's amazing.
As I said, the Mariners on the road facing the Oakland Athletics tonight, 7:05 start time on Root Sports. But we are still giving you a chance to win tickets to an upcoming home game. Derek, play the clip for trivia. We all know it was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we all know it was I Won't Back Down?
I knew that.
Yep.
But the year is always the hard part. Dawn in Shoreline, she knew the year was 1989.
Okay, that's totally wrong. Because I'm so afraid of this particular question. I never say what I think.
Yeah.
But I had 1992 for some reason.
I thought it was the 90s as well. Dawn in Shoreline is better than we are at playing Mariners KZOK Music Trivia. Danny, she's going to the Jeep Winners window in our lobby because she knew all of that information. Derek, what is she going to our lobby to get?
She won tickets for the game on Friday night at 7:10 p.m. versus the LA Dodgers, which just happens to be Sing-Along Fireworks Night.
Sing along fireworks night.
Don't miss the 4th of 5 fireworks nights at Safeco Field featuring some of your favorite tunes to sing along to. The Mariners have partnered with Pyro Spectaculars, the same company who produces the New Year's Eve at the Space Needle extravaganza for this big event. Visit mariners.com/fireworks for more information.
All right. Congratulations, Dawn. You guys listening will have another chance to win tomorrow morning right around this same time. And sports this morning brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. If you find yourself with a DUI, don't delay. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Their lawyers will meet you in Seattle free of charge. Tacoma free of charge. Don't get screwed over. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. You know, if you are I don't want to say a quality listener because I'm not even a quality broadcaster, but if you listen a lot, you realize Monday mornings at 7:20, we're usually going to have a genius game. Well, we don't really have one of those today, but we do. We do have a game, and it's called Four. Or wait, I'm sorry, not Four. It's called Four. There we go. It's definitely called that. I told you, not genius, but loud. Anyway, you can win a pair of tickets to the Boeing Classic, and that's happening at Snoqualmie Ridge.
There's a new study that has been published in the Journal of Science Advances, and it took a look at online daters, and it looks like a ton of people, when they're looking at a partner to date on online, they date out of their league.
Yeah.
They want to date somebody who is more desirable than they are. So
And when you say out of their league, you mean like prettier, handsomer, smarter, has more money, not like they play on the East Coast or anything like that.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not necessarily that somebody is better looking. They might be better educated. They might have a better job or a better background.
Look at you pretend not to be shallow like the rest of us. It starts at better looking, and everybody knows it.
Well, I mean, I remember dating a guy back in the olden days when I lived in Connecticut. I dated this guy who I guess looking at it would be out of my league. He was filthy rich, had houses all over the world, Aspen and St. Bart's and an apartment in Manhattan that just this old family money.
Did you have pictures of this guy with a donkey?
Some sort of blackmail material.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm dating this guy and he's, invites me back to the mansion to meet his parents. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. That's just not my upbringing. He typically and then eventually did marry someone who had a debutante coming out party and also this old family money. This dude totally out of my league based on money.
I read that book, Crazy Rich Asians, which comes out as a movie maybe this week or next. But whatever it is, not to give too much away, because I'm sure you're all going to rush to go see a movie called Crazy Rich Asians. But that's one of the main things is not only is one of the characters just dwarfed by this guy's money, but even his grandparents' money, which you have to act like a whole new person to. So yeah, I've never had that happen to me. I'll tell you the only time not the only time. The first time I dated fully out of my league was a girl named Cindy Jones. She was 17. I was 17. Now, I was coming off the Partridge Family, so I was still famous, but I was poor. She was Miss Teenage California, and I convinced her for 6 months that dating me was a really good idea, would only further her career.
So would you say it was because she was so attractive that she was out of your league, or also just that she was going somewhere and at that time you were not?
No two ways about it. It was only because she was just ridiculously pretty. Just up until I met my wife, who is listening. Up until I met my wife, the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen, let alone dated. But everything she did was predicated on her physical beauty. She was a terrible person.
That's funny. Well, you guys listening, have you ever dated someone that was out of your league, and what made them out of your league? Call us now and tell us your story. 800-252-1025 or text in 90627.
Alrighty, a study that's been everywhere. I read it on my phone, for goodness sakes. What it does is it says that about 25% of people who date online, but I would say date in general, date someone out of their league. Have you ever dated someone completely out of your league, and why were they out of your league? 1-800-252-1025.
Good morning to Drama in Renton.
Hey, Drama, how are you?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Real well. It was a pleasure getting to know you and meet you for the first time at the birthday party. Thank you for coming out.
I was saying likewise, thank you very much. It was also a pleasure if I may give a shout out to Yo and Olympia, Mike and Sultan, and Vinny and Renton. Sat at the table with them.
You had a good
We're
crew.
building bridges, man. Yeah, look at us go. All right, Drama, what do you got for us? Who's out of your league and why?
Okay, I told Derek it was a brief thing, and I don't even want to call it dating. It was just that a brief correspondence. It was you might know her, Danny. It was Kathleen Kinmont. Yeah,
I do know her.
Yeah. So we were on the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps. We were deployed overseas, and she came over for a USO tour or whatever. And she was on shift. She took a liking to me. We hung out and to the point where the upper brass were like, no, you can't talk to this kid. And She's like, oh, sorry. We had a brief kiss. We corresponded afterwards for a few letters, and then that was it.
Oh, man. I would never, because once you're in the armed forces, you're a hero of mine. But if my superior said you can't make out with the hot actress, I'd have had to go on AWOL.
We are asking if you've ever dated someone out of your league and what made them out of your league. You can join the conversation by calling 800-252-1025 or text in to 90627. Let's go to Paul and Buckley.
Hey, Paul.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice meeting you as usual on Friday as well. I
Yep.
hope that you're not over ODing on that package I brought you from the Blue Max.
I most certainly am not, but thank you for bringing it. I appreciate it. All right, what do you got for us, Paul?
When I was growing up, I was in Air Force ROTC military school in Atlanta, and all of the debutantes would come and work with us, try and get us to go out with them, and they were way out of our league.
And
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm surprised that their parents weren't trying to set them up with the male equivalent of debutantes.
By the way, what the hell is the male equivalent of a debutante? A Steven taunt?
Let's talk to Ron in Kirkland. We're talking about, have you ever dated someone out of your league and what made them out of your league? Good morning to Ron.
Good morning, you guys.
Morning.
I actually hooked up with, so it was more than just a kiss, with Emma Sams one night.
No
From
way.
General Hospital?
General Hospital, yeah. In fact, met her at the Roxy. She was cocktail waitressing, and I was up in the VIP booth. We invited her back to a party afterwards for a birthday for one of the band members that was playing that night in Canyon. She came over, met me at the party. We ended up back at my house. I woke up to a "it's been nice, but thanks, but no thanks" letter.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Later,
It's not
2 weeks
me,
later,
it's
I
you.
thought,
Yeah.
no, it was not my money. I had no money.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Is that what it was? That you had no dough, so she was moving on? I got to tell you that, I have some experience with women, but when I hear about a woman having a complete unemotional sexual encounter and then saying, hey, bye, that was fun, but I got to go, that just seems so alien to me. I thought that was loser guys that did that. No offense, by the way, Ron.
Rob in Louisville, have you ever dated someone out of your league?
Yes, I have, and happy birthday to you, Danny.
Thank you very much, Rob.
I was set up on a blind date, and I was told before I met her that she was a nurse. Right off the bat, I kind of assumed that she was out of my league. And I met her, and like I've told you before, we got married the next day, and the only thing I could think, there's got to be something seriously wrong with this woman, because we're still together.
Yeah, there's something seriously wrong with your wife. I've spoken to her, and yeah. And the thing it's you married her the next day. That's right. You told me that.
Yeah.
Now, Rob, why
Wow.
would you say she was out of your league? Because she was a nurse, meaning she was real smart and educated, and you don't consider yourself that?
Yeah, pretty much. I was at the time I was just a cook in a restaurant, and she made really, really good money, and I took a shot at it, and it worked out. And to my
See,
surprise,
at that time in my life, I'd have thought if I met a nurse, my first thought would be, man, she has access to the drugs. That's why she's out of my league. She's got the drugs.
Blair from Lake Stevens texted in. He was also out at your birthday party, Danny. He also claims that he's from Lake Stevens. He also claims that he wrestled Chris Pratt in high school.
I don't know how did Chris Pratt get any rest? Because everybody I've ever met, and it's about 487 people from Lake Stevens, have wrestled that poor guy.
He texted in. He says, "I dated a hot, young, intelligent nursing student back in my college years. I was just a loser. Plus, she had a boyfriend, but that didn't matter because I won her over, and now I call her my wife for the last 8 years."
Well, you know what? That's the second story. No, third story that has ended up in a marriage. I did the same thing. I married somebody on the first day I ever met them. And I got to tell you, even though that lasted 17 years and I got a couple of nice kids out of the deal, I would caution you against listening to this program and going, oh, so getting married on the first date, that's a good idea. Rob does it, Danny does it, who else does it? So I would caution you against that.
Paul, have you ever dated someone out of your league?
Yeah, I dated and I married out of my league. My wife, Holidays, she's not only beautiful, but She's genuinely a good person, which I'm known not to be. And when we met, she was like a total goody two shoes. Like we were in our 20s. She'd never smoked a cigarette, never had a sip of alcohol, never used a drug. Really, the only bad thing she ever did in her life was me.
Did you corrupt her? Did she start doing all of those things?
No, she didn't really do any of those things. She's had a sip or two of alcohol, but that's pretty much it.
Oh, so she doesn't drink at all, and by choice, not like me, where it's like against some kind of law.
Correct.
Holiday doesn't drink, just intentionally. She doesn't like it.
Yeah, she just doesn't like it.
Huh, well, good for her, marrying you sober. I wouldn't have done it.
Right, exactly.
You know, I didn't think about this, but in dating over my head, I'm 23 years older than my wife, aside from the fact that she's going to outlive me, and I really resent that. But, you know, I'm the guy with the hot young wife, and I don't know what I did. And we went out for 6 or 8 months before we got married or even got engaged. And then it was another 3.5 years after that when we got married. And I don't know what she sees in me, but I like it.
All right, you guys, thanks for your calls and texts. It is now time to play the new game that is sweeping the nation. 4.5 KZOK, where we are playing for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Boeing Classic at Snoqualmie Ridge. One of the 4 names that Danny will give you is a current PGA Tour Champions player. The rest are characters from a golf movie. In order to win, you will have to tell us which of the 4 is the real deal.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds a little hard, but you know what? I don't think it will be. Let's find out. Our contestant is Nathan in Federal Way.
Hiya,
Hey,
Nathan.
how you doing?
Very well. Here's a couple of big questions for you, though. One, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yes, sir.
And 2, do you understand the rules of the game?
Yes, I do.
All right. Wow, you're up on me. Here we go. One of these 4 is on tour. That's right. One of these 4 is on the tour and will play the Boeing Classic at Snoqualmie Ridge. The rest, we're getting into shenanigans at the Bushwood Country Club. Number 1, Carl Spackler. Number 2, Ron Spittle. Number 3, Danny Noonan. Or 4, Ty Webb. Which one of these 4 is a current PGA Tour champion?
Oh, see? What was Noonan?
I don't think there was. I don't think there was a C. But is your guess, if you will, Noonan?
Yes.
All right. See if this sounds familiar. Noonan.
I'm sorry, Nathan. That is incorrect.
Yeah, that's from the movie. Noonan. Yeah, that's me. I know everything. Let's pick a new player.
Doc in Seattle, would you like Danny to read the clue again?
Sure.
All right. By the way, I think Doc is like the coolest name. I hope you thank your parents for that. Here we
Right
go.
on, man.
One of these, I was going to name my kid that, and the wife said no. Anyway, one of these 4 is on the tour and will play the Boeing Classic at Snoqualmie Ridge. The rest, we're getting into shenanigans at the Bushwood Country Club. Is it number 1, Carl Spackler, number 2, Ron Spittle, number 3, Danny Noonan, or number 4, Ty Webb? Which of these 4 is a current PGA Tour Champions player?
Man, I'm gonna go with the first one.
Carl Spackler. Yeah, Spackler. That's what I'd have gone with. Was it right?
No, that's Bill Murray's character in Caddyshack.
For God's sakes, that's Bill.
All right, Jimmy in Seattle, do you know the correct answer?
I think it's D.
Number
we
2.
don't have D's and A's.
Did you say 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4.
Okay.
4. Ty Webb. Is that correct?
No.
That is incorrect.
Oh, my God. That's 3 calls out of a 4 possibility question. All right, this has got to be our winner. Derek.
Yeah, how you doing?
Very well. Thank you for asking. Do you know the answer, or would you like me to read you the clue again?
Read it to me one more time.
All right, sure, no problem at all. One of these 4 is on the tour and will play the Boeing Classic at Snoqualmie Ridge. The rest, we're getting into shenanigans at the Bushwood Country Club. Is it number 1, Carl Spackler, number 2, Rod Spittle, number 3, Danny Noonan, or number 4, Ty Webb? Which of these 4 is the current PGA Tour Champions player?
Well, I know it's 1 or 2. I'm gonna pick 2.
You're going to pick
Yay.
2.
Yay,
it's Rod Spittle. Very nicely done.
Congratulations.
The rest are characters from Caddyshack. But you knew the answer, Derek. You have won a pair of tickets to the 13th annual Boeing Classic Pro Golf Tournament, returning to the club at Snoqualmie Ridge. Tickets are on sale now at BoeingClassic.com. You are going to the Jeep Winners window in our lobby to pick up your tickets, and the rest of you join us again tomorrow for another exciting round of 4. And up next, the big news of the day.
And as always, the big news of the day is brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE, or you can go online to goldbergjones.com.
Well, everybody this morning talking about the man accused of stealing a Horizon Air turboprop and taking it on what turned out to be a fatal joyride. A lot of questions are still surrounding how he was able to pilot this plane without a pilot's license. Now, there's some audio where he is talking with an air traffic controller. So it starts off here. The audio is the air traffic controller explaining the situation to another one. And the man accused of stealing the plane, Richard Russell, interrupts with some information about how he learned to fly.
Right now, he's just flying around, and he just needs some help controlling his aircraft.
Very good. Nah, I mean, I don't need that much help. I played some video games before. I would like to figure out how to get this cabin altitude. Like, I know where the box is. I would like to get some, make it pressurized or something, so I'm not so lightheaded.
This guy's, can I tell you that he's screwing with people? That's an intentional, the way he said, I played some video games. I don't really need my job. That's a lie. He knows how absurd that is and how absurd it's. He wants somebody either on their toes thinking about this or thinking, that guy's a genius. He can fly with only playing video games, but I don't believe it to be true at all.
He did crack a lot of jokes throughout his conversations with the air traffic controller, including here, this man, Richard Russell, asks the air traffic controller about getting a job.
Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot?
I think they would give you a job doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right.
See, he knows he's full of crap. He knows he's going to jail the second he lands. He think I could get a job. There's something about this guy that appeals to me, that with whatever minimal or no training at all, he was able to take that plane off and do loop-de-loops and things like that. There's some kind of romance to it, but I'm losing favor with him.
And you're not alone. There was a lot of people, online that were cheering this guy on as he was doing it, and even afterwards, saying, it's a dream of a lot of people, and if you're going to go out, what a way to go out. That he was doing all this crazy maneuvers with the airplane.
Well, and there's important to remember too that it was very clear that he was not trying to hurt anyone. That this was not terrorism. That he could have certainly landed this plane somewhere and done a lot of damage, and that was not his motivation.
Well, he killed one.
He killed himself, but this could have, he flew out of SeaTac. He flew past Tacoma. This could have ended much more badly.
But he also could have been shot out of the sky by the jets that were scrambled. They scrambled jets for this cat, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Because they didn't know what it was. They don't know if it's terrorism. They don't know if he's flying right into the Columbia Tower or whatever terrible thing he could have had in mind. He's not lucky he didn't get shot down because he's dead either way.
The billionaire behind a measure to split California into three says he is giving up on the effort to do so. He said the political environment for radical change is now, but this removal has effectively put an end to my movement. So
I have no idea what he said.
Well, he had tried to get this on the ballot. He got enough petitions, but then they removed it from the ballot, so it cannot get voted on.
Oh, that's the removal. I didn't know if somebody had been removed. All right. So he tried to get it on the ballot, couldn't do it. They took it off, and now he said, "Forget it, I can't do it." How do you end up with $1 billion if you have a skin that thin?
$1.7 million is what he spent to get his initiative on the ballot, but then the court system threw it out and said it wasn't clear enough. He said he doesn't know if it would have passed, if it would have gotten the necessary approval, but clearly this is not the time, and he is just going to abandon his plan to split Cali into three.
He's going to take his $1 billion and go home.
Yep. In recent years, mainstream automakers have been looking for ways to improve their efficiency in terms of profitability. Nissan, for example, talked about slashing 20% of its production in North America. We know Ford is planning a lot of really big changes, but a new study has shown Ferrari has been the most profitable auto brand for the first 6 months of this year.
Geez, that's amazing, because they're like with Elon Musk. They don't turn a profit really to be way out in front like that, manufacturing cars that go from $300,000 to $2 million. Who buys that?
They make a profit of $80,000 for every brand new car sold. On the other end of the spectrum, Jaguar Land Rover, they only make $927 per car.
Really?
They said this is taking a look at the Mercedes, BMWs, the Audis, $20,000 per vehicle. They said that Maserati earns about $5,800 per vehicle. And Bentley is generating losses of $20,000 for each new car sold. That the only one who seems to be making a ton of money, Ferrari and Porsche, makes $17,000 per vehicle.
That's well. I wonder what vehicles, because they go much like Ferraris. They go from 65,000 to 325,000. So their profit margins got to be, a sway in a big direction, both directions. But I had no idea these guys are making that much money or that little money.
Yeah, who's getting the discount Bentleys? That's I want to find out.
Tesla loses almost $13,000 with each new car they sell.
See, that's not good business. The guy seems so smart.
He does.
But, he makes 10,000 cars a year, whatever it is, and lose 13 grand each. That's $1.3 million right there,
Crazy.
I believe.
A security guard in Las Vegas opened fire on the manager of the store he was supposed to be protecting. Now, Danny, you've always said you don't trust armed security guards.
I don't.
And maybe you are onto something, because this was a wild scene that took place in Vegas. The security.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Sarah, that I was an armed security guard with all the permits required for me to carry a gun in the open, walk around, and it gives you almost no rights, but you're the guy with the gun. And if they'll give one to me back in the 80s, they'll give one to anyone.
Yeah. Well, this security guard got into an argument with the female manager of a Ross Dress for Less. Escalated when the security guard said, "I'm so mad, I'm going to open fire."
Wow.
Oh.
He fired indiscriminately into the crowded store, and he was able to, thankfully, the police were able to take him into custody, and he was the only person injured in the shooting.
He shot himself?
He shot himself?
Police arrived at the scene. They said that the suspect was shot. We're still trying to figure out if it was like a ricochet or if one of the police officers hit him, but he was taken into surgery, and no one else was hit.
All right. In that guy's defense, have you ever shopped at a Ross Shop for Less?
Yeah.
They're crazy in there. They're out of their minds. For $3 savings, they'll attack each other in the aisles. It's terrible in there.
Speaking of Vegas, Joe Perry has confirmed that Aerosmith will be doing a residency next year. They said they are working to ensure that these shows for Aerosmith will be something completely different from their normal performances. Their 50th anniversary is right around the corner, and they're going to give full details when they appear on the Today Show later this week. But
that has got to be funny. When I used to I've done the Today Show probably half a dozen times or more. But then with morning real television shows, I've probably done about 20, 25. And when the rock bands pile in, everybody gets all freaked out because, at 7:30 in the morning, Steven Tyler is not going on stage without looking just like Steven Tyler. And he's going to be going, wee-hoo, and those crazy noises that he makes. And who's ever hosting Good Morning America or whatever he's going to do is going to be pretty freaked out.
Yeah, so this is the Today Show, and the band are performing. So over the summer, the Today Show does performances in Central Park, and they're going to be on the stage doing a performance, which is only going to be their second live show of this year. And then they'll do an interview where they will disclose their residency in Vegas. That sounds like a good time out.
It sounds like a great time out. And to be honest, because they're one of my favorite bands, they deserve it. It's a great thing to be able to do. They're going to make a fortune, but also they're not going to have to pack up every night and get on down to Poughkeepsie and play a 3-hour show and then move to Wyoming. This is a great thing for the artists, too. For the fans like us and for the artists, too. Yep. These residencies are great.
Big news of the day. It is brought to you by Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men, online at goldbergjones.com or call 1-800-DIVORCE.
Hey, and don't forget, coming up, everybody loves that guy I've got new respect for, Business News with Jim the Flagger. the iHeartRadio app. It's all new and improved. Can you imagine that kind of technology and there's something new about it? It's got all your favorite music, all your favorite radio stations, all free. KZOK, that's us, and iHeartRadio, that's kind of us too, are giving you the weekly mixtape. Oh, I love this. A personal playlist based on the music that you love. The more you thumb up, I'm assuming that's this gesture right here, yeah. The more you thumb up and save songs, the more we improve and update your mixtape. Just open the iHeartRadio app and find yours now.
Earlier in sports, we were talking about a rookie baseball player who decided to try to impress his family. He flew his family in from the Dominican Republic for his game and, wanted to show off a little bit while the whole family was there. 30 members of his extended family. And wanted to show off a little bit. Plus, playing the Yankees, one of the most storied sports teams in history. He hit 3 home runs.
Wow.
Now, anybody hitting 3 home runs in a game is insane, let alone a rookie who just happened to fly his entire family in from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
But I would say that is going out of your way to try to impress someone and thankfully working, because a lot of times when you go out of your way to try to impress, it doesn't work out so hot.
Yeah, I'm afraid that I am guilty of all of that. I could tell you thousands of ways. I'll start with this. When I was doing that show, World's Dumbest, one of our episodes was it was called Hillbilly Tattoo Removal or whatever. So a guy gets a girl's name tattooed on his arm, and then they break up, and he takes it off with a belt sander and sands it away until it's gone.
Man.
I think, genius. I go right to the tattoo parlor in Philadelphia, right next to my house, Sarah, and I get the names World's Dumbest tattooed on my forearm, on the back of my forearm, and then on screen, because they wouldn't record it, so Amy recorded it for me, she turned on the camera, and we took a belt sander and sanded it off my arm, and it's now my second biggest scar, and that's out of a bunch of scars. The one with the belt sander to take a tattoo off was the weirdest way, the furthest I went to really impress not only my bosses, but the viewers that watched it. And by the way, they loved it.
I remember when you did that, and that was pretty darn shocking.
Yeah.
Although I know when it comes to World's Dumbest, you also went out of your way to try to impress them by getting a tattoo on your chest. I guess technically like your shoulder?
It's my shoulder, and the problem with that tattoo is it says smoking gun. And I said, no, there's a G, man. What are you doing? He goes, no, I watch the show every day. This is their logo, and this is the name of the show. And he put a little smoke coming up from the barrel. And I went and I showed it to them. They all went, wow. But then said, that's not the name of the show. So I have like as bad of a tattoo as you can get. Like the girl that gets no regrets tattooed on her. That's what I've got with smoking gun.
Well, you guys listening, when have you gone out of your way to try to impress someone, and did it work? Let us know your story. Call us, 800-252-1025. Or
Alrighty, a rookie baseball player wanted to impress his family, so he flew them all in from the DR, that's the Dominican Republic, for those of you not as cool as I am, and he wanted to see their kid and their brother and their sister and their cousin play, and what did he do? He hit 3 home runs. So the question to you guys out there is, when have you gone out of your way to try and impress someone, and how did it work out? 1-800-252-1025, or you can text 90627.
let's start with our friend Mike in Sultan.
Hey, Mike, how the hell are you?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Stick 60 Bonaduce, and happy birthday again.
Thank you very much. It was great seeing you on Friday. Thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah, you're welcome. And a big shout out to Yo and Rama, too. I had a good time sitting with you guys and listening to your show there.
I wonder what's going on with Yo and drama, and there's like a lot of grown men saying props out to Yo.
Yep.
All right, what do you got for us?
I don't have motion sickness like Sarah, but I am definitely afraid of heights, and I went up in a hot air balloon and zip-lined. And
you zip-lined out of a hot air balloon?
No, I would never do that. That's not me at all. I won't jump out of anything. I'll never parachute or hang glide or anything like that. But I went up in the hot air balloon in a zip line, not at the same time.
Just to impress a girl, though?
Yeah, pretty much, and it didn't work out like normal.
Oh,
it didn't?
Oh,
No.
Because whether you're impressed by the zip lining or anything like that, you could be impressed by the effort. I got to tell you, in all sincerity, man, I feel like you did way better off without her. And now if you tell me she's your wife, I'm going to be upset.
No such luck.
All right, cool. So, yeah, good job, man.
Gibbons did something similar to this, very, very afraid of heights, and he decided to go ziplining up on Camano Island, wanted to impress a girl, and proceeded to throw up.
Oh,
that'll do
it's
it.
not impressive.
Nope. Don and Puyallup, have you gone out of your way to impress someone?
Hey, Don.
Yeah, in high school, there was a girl that was running away from her boyfriend, very terrified, and I should have taken her right to my house, but I wanted to impress her by beating him up, and it just didn't work.
Meaning, did he kick your ass, or did it just turn into a
No,
problem?
he just kind of walked past me, because she ran away. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he ran away from me.
By the way, can I just tell you this as a friend who loves you? When you say to me, hysterical girl running from her boyfriend, I should have just taken her home. No, that's hysterical girls you don't know in your house. I cannot tell you the liability that is, my friend. You dodged a bullet, probably his.
800-252-1025. When have you gone out of your way to try to impress someone, and how did it work out? Call us now with your story. Let's go to Jeff in Port Orchard.
Oh, yeah, Jeff.
Good morning, people. When I was in my crazy 20s, I had a house on the water and my own private dock, and my cabin cruiser parked there. And I met this young lady at a bar, and to impress her, I was going to take her out on the boat. Well, I had bad intentions, of course, and we walked down to the dock, and trying to step onto the boat, I slipped and fell between the dock and the boat right into the water.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
That's rough, man. Did you just hit the water? Because I have fallen myself, and so have people. Didn't one of our old bosses fall off a boat?
Oh, yeah. No, Scott Vanderpool.
Scott Vanderpool.
Scott
That's right,
Vanderpool.
yeah.
There's a lot of Scott Vanderpool to hurt, but he got really hurt. Did you get hurt?
No, not at all.
Is there
Just your
video?
dignity.
Pride.
Oh, thank God, no.
No. By the way, the taking the girls, and I call them chicks all the time, but I don't want to get yelled at. But the taking a chick on a nice boat and giving her something nice to drink, and she didn't drink. What happens is girls like your boat, and then realize later on they're with you, and they're going to leave now immediately off the poop deck. Or I don't know whether really. I don't know if that's a good place to leave.
When have you gone out of your way to try to impress someone? That's what we're talking about. Let's hear from Doug in Mount Lake Terrace.
Hey, Doug.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
Doug.
And Danny, you had a wonderful birthday, and everybody that came, I kind of felt like it was like a radio family, kind of like. It was really cool. I really felt united. And
That's
anyway,
awesome.
yeah, I'd gone out of my way.
Wait,
that
man.
morning.
Give me 1 second to say thank you to that. That's a really nice compliment. Like I felt as part of a big radio family that, because I don't mean my current family, but the family I grew up with was a disaster. So the idea of somebody wanting to be in my nice, happy little radio family, that's super cool, Doug.
Anyway, so yeah, that morning I got up at 3:30 to be there at 4:30, and after parking there, I went out abroad and I collected up some rocks out of gardens, yards, and I put them in a nice, secure place, and I made an assessment of the area there, and I knew I had a range and a place to do this. But I had to wait for your show to end so I could give my show. And I
Well, you know what? I know, but I didn't realize that this is Sling Master Doug that we're talking to. I opened the show this morning talking about you and how bad you scared me. Although now I see why you're the Sling Master. You didn't make one mistake. The rock went right where you wanted to, but it looked crazy.
I hope not to do just that. I didn't want to scare you, but the ideal place would be on the beach, and to put one of those in your hand and actually teach you to do that too. I really want to teach you.
Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It was my birthday party. We're doing a broadcast. Don't worry. We'll get to it. And thank you for calling in with your 2 cents there, buddy. It's nice seeing you.
John in Seattle texted in at 90627. He says, I lit my tires up to impress some girls, and I blew the engine in my Corvette.
Oh.
Wow. I bet your lips burnt.
And Andrew in Kent says, in junior high, I carved a girl's name in my arm in front of her. I thought she would think I was tough and cool. 30 years later, I still can't believe I did that.
Just so you know, what's this guy's name? I didn't write it down.
Andrew in Kent.
Andrew, just so you're listening, at least 3 times I've carved in girls' names into my arm. And when I first met my now wife, Amy, somehow it came up about, and it was me being drunk and maniac. I said, no, I'll show you how much I love you. And I branded an A into my butt that I had made out of a red hot paperclip. So, dude, you're fine. We all make our mistakes.
The stuff you do to your butt, Danny.
Yeah, that's what?
Tori, have you got out of your way to try to impress someone?
This is actually something guys constantly do to try to impress me. They try to tell me that they're into the same music that I like. And so they'll be like, I love Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze. And then I'll have to quiz them on some King Crimson or something. And they have no clue.
Yeah.
They don't know. It's really unattractive, by the way.
Yeah. You know what's also unattractive? What a terrible human being you are.
Yeah.
That's what's
Why?
unattractive. Because they're trying, man.
Quizzing them.
They're
Watch
lying.
this. Let's
They're
okay.
lying.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
You want to be Tori or the boy?
I'll be the boy. You be Tori.
All right.
You do a great Tori.
All right. So now I'm supposed to do an impression. So Tori, no, I'm a guy. So Tori, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, I love Queen. They're my favorite band.
Queen, me too. That Bohemian Rhapsody thing,
Yeah.
awesome. I can't wait to go see that movie. It's going to be great. Want to have sex?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
Boom. That's how that goes.
No, that was completely wrong, but okay.
Totally right.
Robert Plant is so great in Queen. Yes,
Oh my God, he's
let's
the
go
best.
home, Tori.
He's the drummer in Queen, I believe,
Right.
that Robert Plant.
Derek, has someone gone out of their way to try to impress you?
No. I attempted one time to make a girl a very nice bacon and eggs breakfast. Well, can I even say the word right? Breakfast?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. The problem is I realized I only know how to make scrambled eggs, and I thought I was going to try and do it different this time and make, like, I don't know, regular eggs. And it didn't work out well. At one point, it got so bad that she woke up and came out and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm making you breakfast." She goes, "No, just step aside. I'll do it myself."
Oh.
Wow, that did not work for you at all, man.
No.
Thanks
But
for
just so you know that I back up your story, that I absolutely believe you, because sometimes we're on the radio, we're saying a lot of things. I remember, was it Paul? Did you give him eggs or something like that? And he said, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to go out and buy some pans."
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a pan.
A pan. I have to buy your very first pan. So I believe you can't cook breakfast for the hot girl.
Oh, Derek. Thanks for all your calls and texts. We will be right back with the news. Three people were injured in a stabbing in Kent yesterday. Police and medics were called to 278th Place in Kent just after 6 a.m. All three victims were taken to local hospitals. Two are critical. The third had stable vital signs. There is still no word on what led to the stabbing, but the suspect is in custody.
Paul, you're a pretty normal guy. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think when you hear three people were stabbed?
I think some sort of gang violence.
See, I think, how the hell did the other two not get out of the way?
Oh, true.
You know, it's not a bullet. The guy's got to walk over to you and stab you.
Yeah.
And police are investigating an overnight shooting in South Seattle. The gang unit is presently investigating the area around Rainier Avenue South and South Austin Street. A man was taken to the hospital. He's in his 20s, is expected to survive. And as I said, they believe this to be gang violence. The mother orca, who carried around her dead calf for 17 days and thousands of miles, has finally let go. Orca Taliqua, also known as J35, was spotted Saturday vigorously chasing a school of salmon with her pod mates in the Mid-Harrow Strait.
Oh, so she's going after food.
Yes, that's why.
Oh, that is great, because they were trying to feed her. They were even thinking about feeding her by hand. I'm guessing they were jumped the gun a little bit. You don't want to be playing around with a remorseful or sad orca while you're throwing salmon at it. She's great getting food. That's great.
Yep, they said her behavior is remarkably frisky. The tour of grief is now
Well, that's
over.
what got her pregnant. That attitude.
Yesterday, the FBI recovered the flight data recorder, parts of the voice recorder, and human remains from the wreckage of the stolen Horizon Air turboprop that crashed Friday night south of Tacoma. The data recorder and components of the voice recorder are being sent to the National Transportation Safety Board for analysis. Now, as we know, there's plenty of audio of this man, Richard Russell, talking with the air traffic controllers, but what they're wondering is perhaps it's going to shed some more light on him and what happened, because it would be recording him if he was talking to himself. So while he's sitting in the cockpit, it's recording. It's possible he had spoken out loud.
Believe it or not, and when I say I've heard it before, there's a chance most of us have heard it before. One of the first pilots of a major airline, I think this happened in Indonesia, but I'm not positive. The co-pilot went out to use the bathroom, if you remember this, and he locked him out and then crashed the plane on purpose, killing everybody. Well, remember, he was talking in the cockpit the whole time, and they rested on that box, and they found it, and they, it was a lot of religious stuff and yelling, but people do that.
And while everyone's been talking about that Horizon Air theft, 5 people were also injured over the weekend when a historic biplane crashed at the end of an air show in BC.
I don't really care about its preferences. You just call it a plane. Biplane. Who still says that, Sarah?
The 1930s era de Havilland Dragon Rapide biplane crashed shortly after takeoff, 5:30 in the afternoon, after the Abbotsford Air Show concluded. Witnesses said that the biplane took off, but then began rocking from side to side. Its right wing clipped the ground, sending the aircraft nose first onto the runway.
Do you know what might have caused that? It would have been very possibly that. It's a biplane. Why is it flying? Why is anybody letting that thing fly from the 1930s? My mom's from the 1930s, and I most certainly would not let her fly.
A strong smell outside of a California supermarket turned out to be something super awful.
Sorry.
Well, they originally...
Daddy was in California over the weekend.
I was thinking that, man.
This, they thought originally was a septic problem. They called a plumber and said, "This is a terrible smell coming from that column." And they were able to knock brick from the column outside the supermarket. And that's when they saw a shoe and a leg.
No way.
They said it's been over 100 degrees here every day. There was somebody inside that column baking.
But were they buried in there? Is it Jimmy Hoffa? I don't understand.
No, according to police, the victim may be a man who had been stopped for a fake license plate. He crashed the vehicle and ran away from deputies into the supermarket. That's the last they saw of him. Now they think he somehow reached the store and descended into the column and then couldn't get back out.
Like it was hollow inside and he somehow climbed down inside it.
Yes.
But down, columns go up and support the roof, don't
He was
they?
on the roof and lowered himself down into the column and then could not get back out.
Now I get it. Thank you.
And they said, "I saw gooey liquid. It smelled like death."
Moo.
Well, it was death. That's apparently what death smells like.
That's a good point. In Sweden, they have had such hot temperatures over the past few weeks that now they have granted permission for the cows to visit nudist beaches.
Really?
Now, the nudists are complaining. They are not happy about this. The officials in Småland have allowed...
Småland? I'm sorry, where did you say this was?
Sweden.
Oh, okay. I did hear it right. I thought that sounded like it was in some other continent. All right. So the cows are going to Småland and bathing.
Yep. Everybody wants to go to the beach, right? When you're in the middle of a heat wave, everybody wants to go to the beach.
And the nudists shouldn't be that upset. The cows aren't wearing clothes.
They are too. They're wearing leather. Cows and vegans. Everybody's upset.
They said when it's dry, the cows need to bathe, eat, and drink. Why not take them where everybody else is going?
You know, I don't actually see the problem with it. I get what the perception problem is. Like when you deal with cows and horses and things like that, as I have had the pleasure of doing, and you're watering your cattle and they're going in the river and stuff like that, you never want to breathe, or drink, or swim downstream of a bunch of cows because they do what cows do naturally, or most of what cows do naturally, and it's disgusting.
Well, you know, you are right, but they said they're not letting the cows in the water at the same time as the nudists. They're kind of taking turns, so live with it.
Yeah, you know what? I am not taking a turn with steak. You cannot maybe go, "Hey, wait in line there, Mr. Bonaduce. I'm a cow and I have rights." You don't have rights.
And a man over the weekend in North Columbus had a change in his normal daily routine, but that did not stop him from continuing. 9 o'clock in the morning. The guy's in the shower. A water main broke out front of his house. Well, he's in the shower, and all of a sudden, with the water main break, you have no more water pressure, no more water coming out of the faucet.
Sure.
Or the shower head in this case. So what did he do? Well, he decided to go out to the water main break and finish his shower.
Was he naked?
Full on naked.
Well,
No.
I don't think you can do that.
He had a shower cap on.
Well, at least nobody will get pregnant.
Well, he finished his shower, and the guys working there said, like, what are you doing? And he said, I was in the flipping shower. I got to go to work. So he wrapped up his shower, went back in his house, dried off, and left for work.
You know what? I kind of like it. I'm. The penalty for that guy is nothing. I'm going to let him go right to work and have his day and tell his story.
Thank you. I would agree with that. German police have rescued a man after he called for help, saying a baby squirrel would not leave him alone.
Sure, it was attacking his nuts. No, they were up there on the top shelf. The thing went crazy.
So this guy was out going for a walk in the park when he starts being chased by a tiny squirrel. And at first he's like, oh, that's kind of cute. See you later, buddy. And he walks away. He couldn't shake the baby squirrel.
You're not supposed to shake any
You're
babies.
not, don't shake babies. That's crazy.
Well, he started to kind of freak out. It would not leave him alone. So he calls 911. The police arrive at the scene and say the little squirrel was apparently so exhausted from chasing the man that he just laid down and fell asleep. And they said what happened likely is he became separated from his mom, and then they just searched for the next replacement.
He thought that guy was his mom.
Yeah. So they called animal control, and they said this squirrel is going to be our new mascot. And he fell right asleep, and it's so cute, a little baby squirrel.
It's adorable. I just don't understand a grown man calling 911 and says I'm being attacked by a baby squirrel. Although I will say this, somebody called 911. I was watching that Bad Cats or whatever it is with that guy, Corpus Christi or whatever the hell his weird name is, Jackson Pollock. No, Jackson Galaxy. And they're showing this tape of this house cat attacking them, and sure enough, they locked themselves in the bedroom for good reason. That cat would have killed them, and I thought they were foolhardy. So I may let the story about the baby squirrel attacking slide.
It's a baby animal, though, Danny. We've established you could fight any baby animal.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be the point. That's my point of why the guy shouldn't have run away.
A California man accused of trying to steal several items from a local Walmart got busted when he returned to the scene to retrieve the Bible he left behind.
Well, that's important. He has to know which commandment he broke.
So he went to Walmart, stole a bunch of stuff, and then he fled. Police had arrived at the scene, talking to the loss prevention people. Turns out the dude realizes he forgot his Bible, left it behind while perpetrating the crime. So he returns to the Walmart, and what do the cops do? They promptly arrest him.
Yeah. That's what I would do, and I think that's what God would do, and that's what's important here. What would God do?
Danny, are you a fan of La Traviata?
Yeah, I am actually. It's not my favorite, but it's nice.
I mean, it's opera. It's Placido Domingo, probably one of the most famous voices to sing Verdi's La Traviata.
Did you say placebo? Domingo, like
yes.
you take this Domingo?
Yes,
if
placebo.
you don't think you're strong enough for the other Domingo?
A woman in Slovakia has been driving her neighbors crazy by blasting this song for 16 years. She has finally been arrested. She would play it nonstop on her speakers, full blast from morning till midnight. And she claims that she did it to drown out her neighbor's dog barks. And now she finally has been arrested. And the neighborhood said, why did it take so long?
Yeah, why did it take so long?
Well, because it's Slovakia.
Okay. Let me just say, so I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to be mad at me. All I just want to say is there's no way in the world that would have gone on year 2, let alone year 16. I might have been reasonable for all of year 1, but very early in year 2, either the dog or she would have gotten very quiet.
I'm going to guess, Danny, more like week 1.
Yeah, I was trying to make myself look mature.
I think there's a period of time where you might enjoy it. You go, oh, well, this is pleasant. This is kind of relaxing. Maybe I'll let this go on for a while. But
No, never. Are you listening to this crap?
Yes.
This isn't Verdi. This is somebody. My daddy took me to see this. And I can't get into it. It's much like, and here's where I'm going to lose some people, progressive jazz. Oh, it just sounds like you don't really know how to play the instrument and you're just making noises. So, no, this would drive me crazy. And Paul and I would have to take action.
Yeah.
we would.
And this is Placebo Domingo.
Yeah, I like Placebo Domingo.
In England, experts are warning about wasp season. Now,
Yeah, well, they can get pretty pesky, those guys.
well, they say wasp season happens every single year. You know, it's just one of those things that happens in the summertime. You know, here in Seattle, we have a lot of bees and wasps. But in England, they are calling them logger louts. Wasps
Why?
have been on stinging rampages because they are drunk.
Oh, lager
that's
like the
good.
beer, not
Yes.
like they're
Beer,
cutting down
yeah.
trees and milling it into wood.
That's right. Boozy
No, they're-
wasps.
You know, for a minute there, I was pretty sure they were cutting down trees and then going to the mill. and milling. But now I think the lager stingers are drinking beer.
They are drinking beer. They are drinking cider. They are getting drunk on naturally fermented fruit, but also brewers, distillers, leaving anything out. Drunk wasps have been attacking everyone in England.
Yeah, that's very weird to see them on the rampage. On the rampage here, I've seen them all over the place. They can really sting you. They're very serious.
Every summer, they seem to hide in my umbrella. So, like on my balcony, and I go to, what do you call it? Like undo the umbrella to make it go up. You like ring this little handle.
Crank, turn the crank.
You turn the crank.
We all got it. You made the umbrella go up. This is not that difficult.
And it's like a hit or miss. Am I going to get stung by a wasp? Is there a hive under there? And I've only been stung once.
Here, you want to hear something hit or miss? How about this joke? I have not seen wasps this excited since the sale at Nordstrom. Yep, I thought that was Wasp, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Oh, yeah. That was the example of the miss part.
Yes, no, that was. Dude, I knew it was going down in flames, but I thought it deserved a try.
An 81-year-old woman has been arrested after allegedly attempting to smuggle 92 pounds of heroin across the
Where
U.S.
the sun don't shine?
No. That's few too many pounds for that.
You don't know the girls I know.
92 pounds of heroin across the U.S.-Mexico border. These drugs were valued at almost $1 million.
Well, which way are they going? Because if they're coming up, they're worth about $1 million. If they're going down, it's worth about $38.50.
So she was in Mexico, entered into the United States in a Chrysler 200, and a border protection dog was smelling her vehicle, smelled something suspicious, and that's when they found 34 concealed packages of heroin in its rocker panels. She was taken into Homeland Security, and they said that this just shows the lengths that the cartels are willing to go to get drugs into America. 81 years old.
Oh, because I don't understand the lengths that they're willing to go. They put it in the rocker panels of the door of some lady that was willing to run them. That's the minimum lengths they go to. But then you throw me 81 years old.
81
and that's
years
the thing.
old.
Yeah.
Vermont's capital city is, Paul, I'll give you a gold star if you can tell me what the capital of Vermont is.
Mount Pilier or something like
You
that?
get a gold star.
Hey, look at
Good
me
for
go.
you.
How the hell did you know that? I didn't know that.
I have no idea.
Montpelier is correct. They are trying to go.
All right, what is the capital of Mayberry?
What?
Aha, Mount Pilot.
Is that right?
Yep.
I thought Mayberry was a town.
Don't give me a hassle with this.
What's the capital of the fanciest pen ever?
Detroit.
Mont Blanc. I'm just trying to stick with the Mont.
Super good. I screwed you over on that. That was really a noble try.
So on to Vermont. They have a problem with poison ivy. They're trying to figure out what to do with all the poison ivy. They started putting signs up telling people, don't sit down here, don't go for a walk in this park. Now they have decided to go for the natural route. They've hired goats.
To do what?
To eat the poison ivy?
To eat the poison ivy.
Well, that's mean.
Don't they get poison ivy?
I would have thought they did.
It seems very mean, but any excuse to play Belle Biv DeVoe on this show.
Right.
Pretty happy with.
A New York State church had a block party over the weekend, and while they did, they broke a Guinness World Record for playing hopscotch.
Oh, cool.
The Asbury First United Methodist Church said more than 700 people simultaneously played games of hopscotch, beating the previous Guinness World Record of 650.
Do you know what is not particularly interesting about the story at all?
All of it?
No, because I would never say anything like that to you. Here's why I see it in my brain is a thing outside the church. The view you're going to get it's a cross that you play hopscotch in. So everybody's got 1,000 little crosses out there. Then they're jumping up and down on them.
I never even
you're all
thought
going
that.
to hell.
You're totally right.
Look at me be right.
All right, we are going to be right back with music news. Something very cool happened during a Billy Joel concert over the weekend. We'll tell you what. Over the weekend, Seattle's Museum of Pop Culture did something pretty spectacular. We will tell you all about that. Bad news about one of music's greatest. Plus, we've got entertainment and sports next. There were 2 big concerts scheduled over the weekend at Boston's Fenway Park, and somehow those 2 concerts, those 2 worlds collided when Def Leppard singer Joe Elliott sat in with Billy Joel.
Neat.
So it was towards the end of the main set. Def Leppard, Joe Elliott was brought up onto stage by Billy Joel, where they did Pour Some Sugar on Me. Now,
That's an interesting choice.
Yep. Right before...
This isn't them.
Well, this is
Right?
the song they covered.
Yeah, but this doesn't sound like them.
No, you know how it is. Like sometimes I try to get the audio, but it tends to be cell phone audio,
Yeah,
and it
sometimes
sounds like
it's too bad.
crap. And then you're like, "Oh man, this stinks." Before that, Peter Wolf of the Jay Giles Band went on stage and performed "Centerfold" with Billy Joel. Earlier in the night, Billy Joel did Boston's "More Than a Feeling," so he was all about paying respects to the city, but also incorporating the other musicians who happen to be in town.
Yeah, you know what? My first thought is, and my first thoughts are crummy, and my second thoughts are nice. But my first thought is, Billy Joel could get way better guests. Anybody remember Paul McCartney? What happened at the end of Paul McCartney? Boom! Some Foo Fighters just jumping on stage, having a good old time. So I love me some Billy Joel, and I love Def Leppard, but I just think, he could get more A-list guests. He's actually shared the stage with Paul McCartney on more than one occasion, but this wasn't it.
Well, yeah, and it made sense because Joe Elliott was there because Def Leppard was performing the following night. And Peter Wolf and Jay Giles Band are from Boston, so I'm sure for the crowd, that was a pretty big deal.
Wait, where are they playing?
This was at Fenway Park in Boston.
Def Leppard is playing Fenway Park?
Yep.
Wow. They're doing great.
It's the tour with Journey, right?
Well, it's a good tour, apparently.
Yeah, I believe it's a White River here.
And over the weekend, Seattle's Museum of Pop Culture opened an exhibit in honor of Pearl Jam. And of course, Friday night, Pearl Jam performed here in Seattle, and everyone said it was just mind-blowingly amazing.
Yeah.
But in addition, this exhibit at the Museum of Pop Culture, there's a lot of Pearl Jam instruments, props, artwork, but there's also a little special exhibit that will honor another Seattle music icon, Mother Love Bone frontman Andrew Wood. And inside the museum, you'll find a nearly 8-foot-high bronze statue of Andrew Wood. And turns out it was commissioned by Pearl Jam's bassist, Jeff Ament. He wanted to pay homage to Mother Love Bone. They said there would not be a Seattle music community if not for Mother Love Bone and specifically Andrew Wood.
Wow, I had no idea of that. I'm glad I held my snarky remarks back then.
Yeah, most people say that this is the band that really started the entire grunge movement, and the band Temple of the Dog was put together as a tribute to him, who died in 1990 of a drug overdose. So he died days before their debut album was scheduled to be released, and most people who with a connection to Seattle in the music industry say that was the band.
All right. I always, of course, thought it was Nirvana, but what do I know?
Before Nirvana, yeah.
No, I thought it was Nirvana. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I just always thought the mother of all grunge starts with Nirvana, but, I did not live in Seattle when all of that was going on.
Well, and a musician that you absolutely love has a new book coming out. Justin
Tebow! That's right.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh, him too.
Oh, I do love him, yeah.
The actor and Grammy-winning singer has a book coming out. It was just announced. It's called Hindsight and All the Things I Can't See in Front of Me. It'll feature images from his personal archives, anecdotes, reflections, and observations.
Yeah, I don't know, but he did bring sexy back. So, he did that Cry Me a River song he did over Britney Spears and stuff like that.
That's a great
I can't
song.
believe I know this much about Justin Timberlake, but I do, and I feel fine about my manliness. But yeah, I'll check it out and see what he's writing about.
He's a good actor too, and he's funny. So hopefully the book is funny.
Yeah.
And some sad news to report this morning. There are several reports that Aretha Franklin is gravely ill, and friends and family are gathering at her bedside to say goodbye.
Yeah, she's been on death's door at least 3 times in the last 6 or 7 years. She's got diabetes, she's got a couple of other serious health problems, but then she bounced back and ends up on stage doing possibly one of the best shows you're ever going to see.
Yeah. Well, she has been battling cancer in addition to her other health problems. They say she is under 100 pounds and that her health is failing. Yep.
Wow, because she's sometimes if she can get under 250, I would think she calls that a victory. So I had no idea she was this sick.
Yep, 76 years old.
Yeah.
Well, how about some good news from the music world?
Yeah.
iHeartRadio Music Festival is back, happening September 21st and 22nd at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. 2 nights, and some of the biggest names in music will all be on one stage. A lot of different collaborations, so many different people performing, including Fleetwood Mac and Lynyrd Skynyrd. The world will be listening on iHeartRadio, but you could be there. You're listening for the keyword. You text it to 200-200 for your chance to win a trip for 2. You can get all the info at KZOK.com. Plus, you'll have more chances to text in and win throughout the day today on KZOK. Looks like Fox has set a September 17th air date for its 2-hour special on Charles Manson and his band of followers. This is something that's going to be narrated by Liev Schreiber, who's the star of Ray Donovan.
Yeah,
that guy's great. He's also, there's a thing if you want to watch some of the big fights, there's something called 24, and they talk about like the weeks leading up to the fight, and he narrates that, and he's great at it. This is a really talented dude.
Yeah, good voice.
But what don't we know about the Manson gang? What is there? I know more of them by name than I do the Seven Dwarfs, for God's sakes. So I don't know what else there is to uncover. But I'll probably, having said that, I will probably listen.
Well, this is a special called Inside the Manson Cult: The Lost Tapes. So this will be on Fox, and the content for this special was culled from more than 100 hours of chilling footage and goes deep inside the Spahns Ranch where the Manson cult lived. Will offer an intimate and terrifying look into America's most murderous group. There'll be rare photographs plus new and archival interviews with cult members like Gypsy, Diane Snake Lake, the prosecutors, and more.
Wow, okay, because, that guy, just by being so vicious and so crazy, got the kind of press he wants to. When you're talking about the world's most murderous gang, there's single American killers that have killed more people than Charles Manson ever even thought about. It's just they didn't leave pig on the blood or hang anybody. That's where he gets all his attention about how vicious that was.
And a new article in the Wall Street Journal is about the fate of 20th Century Fox amid Disney's takeover of the studio. But it did include an interesting nugget. So the Wall Street Journal says that Fox is in development on both a second Simpsons movie as well as a Family Guy movie. Now,
I'll go see both of those, by the way. Well, I don't know so much about The Simpsons, but The Family Guy, I would wait in line in the rain.
What's strange about the Family Guy movie is it says it will mix both animation and live action.
Oh, weird.
That's stupid.
I mean, is that like Jessica, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, whatever the name of that movie was?
It's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. I think that's still right. But I don't think I don't think they should mess around with Family Guy at all, because once the novelty is gone, it's, oh, look, that's a live actor talking to Peter Griffin. I think it's going to suck is the word I'm looking for here. I think stay away from it.
Although I did like that movie with Mark Wahlberg, where he's the giant teddy bear.
Ted, yeah. It's amazing to me.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, it's just amazing to me that The Simpsons is still running and going strong. Like since 1988 or 89, whatever that launched. It's crazy.
Longest running
it's a
TV.
Cartoon.
Yep. And at the box office over the weekend, it was all about The Meg. $44.5 million.
Oh, not bad.
No, now they said it cost $130, so they're really hoping for a good performance overseas for it to be considered a hit. But right now, let's see, the international overall just shy of $100 million.
So I can't tell anymore with today's dollars. Is that good or is that slow?
They said this was a pretty darn good opening. It's solid, is what they're calling it.
Solid.
Now, Black Klansman, it was Spike Lee's best opening in more than a decade. It did come in at number 5, but it brought in almost $11 million.
Wow, that's not nothing, but you're right. His movies, Do the Right Thing, was that one of his movies?
Yeah.
Crooklyn was one of his movies, which, by the way, I was in that, in case you care. Don't blink your eyes, you'll miss me.
That movie looks so good, though, for it to only make $10 million, but to make a fourth of what some stupid giant shark movie makes is
Which
pretty
cost,
disappointing.
it only cost a fourth to make what that one was, too.
Still.
So I think Spike did fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always the difference between a PG and an R, that the R movies never perform
Right.
as well. But Mission Impossible was at number 2, followed by Christopher Robin. Slender Man came in 4th place with a lowly 11.3 mil, followed by Black Klansman. Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. It was a huge weekend for the Mariners. They did what no one really thought they'd be able to do. They swept the Astros, a 4-game sweep of the number 1 team in the ML West.
Nice.
So 4-game sweep, something the Mariners have never done. We have never swept a 4-game series.
The Astros. We must have incredibly clean Astros at this point. That much sweeping going on. No dust on that.
Another huge series this week. Today's Monday. It's the Mariners at Oakland. First pitch, 7:05. Marco Gonzalez versus Sean Manaea. Now, tomorrow, we continue our series with Oakland, but Robinson Cano is able to return tomorrow. His 80-game suspension. So we're not exactly sure, is he going to be in the starting lineup? Is he going to be on first?
Yeah, will he be playing first? Will he be at third? No, probably he's going to be at first if he's...
Now, did he miss all 80 games?
Had to, suspended.
Yeah. No, I realize that, but I'm just saying it feels like yesterday.
I
to
agree.
Me. So he really did all 80 games down in the Smalls, or whatever that's called.
I was thinking the same thing. Well, no, he sat on the couch. I was going to say the bench, but no.
For months, couple of months.
For months. He did do his rehab stints in Tacoma.
Yeah.
But no, he has not played in, 70 games. So he sat at home and did nothing.
Then what about the other 10 games?
That's what I'm saying. He played 3 or 4 games for the minors, and then now he's set to return. But Scott Servais has not said what he'll be doing, so he hasn't even said if he'll be in the starting lineup for tomorrow night's game.
All righty.
Yesterday, the Sounders beat FC Dallas, their 5th straight victory. The Storm defeated the Lynx, and in golf, Tiger Woods almost won a major.
Almost
won.
He made a huge comeback, and it looked like he was about to do it, but he did finish second. This dude, Brooks.
But in a real golf game with real golfers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, because if you're playing miniature golf and you've got a handicap of 11, that doesn't count. But this is a real a match?
This was the PGA Tour. This was the majors. This was an elite group. Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus. This is a bunch of people who have achieved massive marks in golf. So this dude, Brooks Koepka, won the U.S. Open and this PGA Tour, which not a lot of people have done. But Tiger Woods came in second.
That's
Yay.
pretty amazing because he wasn't even coming in the top 10.
Nope. Sports this morning brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Let's take a second to talk about 1-800-DUI-AWAY. If you get yourself a DUI in Washington, they got some really tough laws about the subject. Now, if you get a DUI, do what I say every time. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer who knows what they're doing. And at 1-800-DUI, they will fight hard for you, and they will meet you free of charge in Seattle, Everett, or Tacoma. So if the unfortunate happens to you and you do get a DUI, don't delay. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Hey, I want to say thank you so much to Danny's birthday party on Friday. Thanks, of course, to all of those who listened on the radio. Pictures are up right now at KZOK.com, and a special thank you to Schwartz Brothers Restaurants and, of course, Chandler's Crab House. That place is fantastic. The redevelopment of that area is happening. Unfortunately, that location will be closing September 29th, but you still have plenty of time to get out there. So make sure to visit Chandler's Crab House, South Lake Union, while you still have a chance. And thank you very much for hosting the Danny Bonaduce birthday bash. Danny, that was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. I had a great time. A lot of these people were able to put a face to the name. Slingmaster Doug, Mike, a lot of the people call in Yo, although we know what Yo looks like because she comes around a lot with candy, which is nice of her. I'll tell you one of the nicest things that happens every single day is we're done with this nonsense that we do. Steve Slayton, a real live professional disc jockey, he's going to walk in the door and he's going to play you a bunch of classic rock and roll. So we should get out of his way. So bye.